And welcome back to a pre-recorded Who Would Win on Thursday for Friday, the 11th. So this one comes to us from Dante Uchiha X, who asked the question, who would win a fight? King Piccolo versus, I'm not even going to try to do this character's voice because I don't know what this character sounds like, because I'll explain that in just a second. Meruem from Hunter x Hunter. Now, so just so we know, I do not watch or have not read Hunter x Hunter. I do plan to get in, because I've had enough what if requests that I need to get involved with it. But so I will read and or watch it at some point, but at this current time, I have not watched or read Hunter x Hunter yet. So I am only going off of what I have been able to find about the character. So be kind to me. I know I'm going to get people who are going to be, why are you doing it if you don't read? Why are you talking about it if you don't know? You shouldn't talk about things if you don't know. It's like, I've gotten so many people saying, you shouldn't talk about something if you don't know about it. It's like, no, that's part of the fun. Some fans know less than others. Some fans know more than others. That's part of the fun. God. And then if they don't know a lot about stuff, then you can politely correct them and let them know about things. That's the way adults with respect work. Huh? Sorry. Anytime I get a chance to not belittle, but kind of point out the hypocrisy of fandom, sometimes of certain fans, and the fact that some people need to grow the F up, I'll do it because they need to, and it's important for us to establish a healthy community as fans. But anyway, so King Piccolo, I will talk King Piccolo first because he's the easier of the two to talk about, because obviously I know Dragon Ball far better than I know Hunter x Hunter. King Piccolo is a Namekian who's, actually, we don't even know the original being that Kami and King Piccolo were. But Kami split, creating Kami, and then creating King Piccolo, who got sealed away. Now, he was eventually found by Emperor Pilaf and his gang, released, and he goes on a quest to find the Dragon Balls, and he does it to restore his youth. Why he didn't wish for immortality, who knows? But he restored his youth. And King Piccolo is pretty, there is no redeeming qualities to King Piccolo. He would randomly choose it when he kind of took over the world for a little bit, and he did. He would randomly choose a town that he was going to wipe off the face of a map, just to show as an example. And he would do that. He turned he could wipe out towns, no problem. He destroyed the Eternal Dragon. He destroyed Shenron. He didn't blow up the Dragon Balls. No, he blew up Shenron himself. Shenron, keep in mind, is a magical being, and Piccolo just mouth lasered him to death. So, yeah, as strong as Shenron's abilities are, Shenron is not an individual who can survive, attacks or something like that, apparently. And that's just from low-level Dragon Ball characters, or even high-level Dragon Ball characters. You want to talk about, what would happen if, say, Frieza got a hold of him and just wanted to wreck him, or Beerus. God. But still, he was still a very impressive fighter for what he was. Not like a master martial artist like Piccolo Jr. would later become, but still an impressive fighter nonetheless. Very powerful. Laser eyes. He still has a Namekian. He still had regenerative capabilities. Even in death, he was able to spew out his essence into an egg and survive. He's concentrated laser blast, super energy, but the works, the standard Dragon Ball trope, and he could fly, so he had that going for him. Meruem is the most powerful character to be introduced in the series thus far in Hunter x Hunter, as the one with the highest learning ability. As well as the one with the highest learning ability. Born as the ultimate biological weapon, in essence, he is their version of Cell. He has tremendous physical prowess and is only matched by an unparalleled intellect, both of which seem to place him well above the realm of human possibility. As king of the Chimera ants, his power exceeds even that of the royal guards. He can increase it even further by consuming Nen users. Again, Cell. He fought Isaac Nitro, formerly considered the strongest Nen user in the world, who retained a fearsome level of power even in his old age, while trying not to kill him. A condition Meruem likened to playing chess without I'm calling him Meruem, by the way. I don't know if that's his actual name. I don't know how to pronounce this. Likened to playing chess without a rook and a bishop, and won their physical confrontation. After the absorption of most of, Salapof's and Mathuluyupu's bodies, Knuckle believed that military power at the same state level would be necessary to match him. As the king of a colony of Chimera ants, He has the authority over the royal guards and the ability to procreate with females from different species. Well, that's fanfic righty inducing. Is like I can procreate with females of different species. Yeah, okay. I mean that's great and all. Yeah, that the implications. So what does he bring to the table though? Unfathomable strength. As soon as he was born, he already possessed enough strength to blow off the heads of several squadron leaders with a single strike from his tail, as well as to punch a hole in the nest with enough force that would that the whole construction shook. By stabbing his tail into the outer wall of the nest, he was able to launch himself into high air. Basically, as he got stronger, he was able to effortlessly sever Nichiro's left arm and right arm, as well as, more remarkably, his own left arm, in spite of his outstanding durability of his body. With the aid of Ren, he is able to manage to push back 2 of the hands of Nichiro's 100 type Goyen Bod. Oh, God. Some of these names, man. Point being, he's really strong. And apparently, one of his real tests is his durability and his speed, even more so than his strength. He can move so swiftly that mere moments after his birth, he could decapitate 2 squadron leaders without them or cult managing to see him. Basically, he moved faster than the human eye could see. And these are Nen users, so that's faster than your normal human reflexes. In the brief instant that Nichiro and Zeno were distracted by his aura, he managed to leisurely walk between the 2 of them undetected. By his own administration, the only time Nichiro's speed exceeded his own was during the latter's hand movements when he activated 100 type Guyan Bodhisattva Buddhism, I'm imagining. Based on the attack, based on what I'm seeing here, it is Buddhism. Like, the attack is like Buddhism based. Basically, this guy moves at probably supersonic speeds, if not possible near light speeds. Though, again, I'm not Death Battle. I can't do the calculations, and even then, they're not calculations aren't always correct. Goku versus Superman. If based on just the clip I'm seeing, it's clear this guy is moving at hypersonic speeds, no problem, with ease. Probably near light speeds, honestly, based on the movements I'm seeing. He gained the ability to fly and has increased his already supersonic movements to speeds to the point believes they have quadrupled. So what is supersonic? Actually, and if you that's math I can actually do. So how fast is supersonic? Let's do the bare minimum of supersonic. How fast is supersonic? So how fast is supersonic at its low ball minimum? Approximately. Mach 1 is the speed of sound, so that's supersonic. Now, he's probably moving well beyond Mach 1, but let's just go with Mach 1. That would mean then he's moving at Mach 4 if he quadrupled the speed, which is 768 miles an hour at its bare minimum, which means if you quadruple that, you're now looking at a speed, roughly speaking, you carry the 3, 72, and then you're looking at about 3,072 miles an hour, give or take. But that's if we're just going with the low-ball supersonic. It's clear that he's supersonic to the point that is much faster than just Mach 1. He's probably going more like he's probably going like Mach 5, 6, whatever the Machs are. But unfortunately, that does mean that he's probably not moving at light speeds. He is probably moving, though, at super hypersonic speeds. Oh, so you're probably looking at like 50,000 miles an hour, no problem. But still, again, and whenever this character shows up for Death Battle, but let's be clear, we know for a fact if this Death Battle happens on Screw Attack, who this guy's going. He's going up against Cell. There's no other question about it. He's going up against Cell. Unfathomable agility, basically same. He does not. This guy does not tire. By the way, like his stamina is near. It's not an infinite. He can show fatigue. But he basically defeated the Shogi Go champions of Eastern Korea without resting between matches and did not show the slightest hints of physical or mental fatigue, even after playing Guyan with Komugi. Again, I'm probably butchering these names. for 3 straight days, and he was so engrossed in their gains that he apparently ate nothing for 6 days, and he seemed unaffected. Now, that does not mean his stamina is infinite. It's very likely it's not infinite. It's probably more just extreme. Like, he could go probably a good solid week or 2 without actually tiring too much, but after that, he would need to rest. Kind of think of it kind of like Gigantomachia in My Hero. Similar concept, I'd imagine. Unfathomable durability. Like, his durability is one of his biggest points. That his attacks only inflict minor injuries. Powerful supersonic attacks only inflicted minor injuries on him, and none at all after his first activation of Ren. He was able to take thousands of such blows without suffering a single scratch, although it said he eventually began to feel a dull eternal pain, hinting that he may have sustained some light internal damage before Xeno's hand was used. So basically, his innards actually seem to be more vulnerable than his outwards, because think of it this way, he might not break, but that force is still being, vibrated through the entirety of his body. Like, concussive force is still going through the entirety of his body. So he can still feel, he's got immense pain tolerance, but he can still feel pain. Resistant to poison, wouldn't matter in this fight. Super intelligence, which is a big thing. Proficient hand-to-hand combat. His style relies entirely on barehanded combat to kill his opponent. Empathic bonds, and he is a Nen user, so should note that. Oh god, he has so many abilities too. Oh god. And how far are we into this video now? Oh god, 11 minutes. I gotta speed this up. Okay, so Nen Meruem is a specialist. He was born with the ability to use Nen, vastly superhuman amount of aura, which exceeds even that of royal guards. By feeding on Nen users, he increases his Nen's aura even further. He can perform Goyo shortly after birth, whatever that is. His Ren struck fear into the nearest heart and allowed Meruem to pry open the hands of 100 types. This defensive application of Ren may imply he's capable of Ken. First time he uses it. Basically, his Nen abilities. Aura synthesis. And this ability gives him strength through consumption. This is where he basically eats other Nen users. When he consumed 2 of them, you obtain some of their Nen abilities as well. So again, it's very similar to Cell, and kind of like Boo too, where he gains some of their abilities. After absorbing large parts of them, he was able to use the ability, use Methuyopo's ability. Someone's outside, like either with a music or whatever. I'm hearing like a low thud. This allows him to, or maybe someone's like trying to shovel or something, allow him to fly. So he basically was able to gain the ability to fly. Rage Blast, firing a large, what the, domino. Basically firing energy blasts, microscopic energy blasts, particles, akin to protons. He's got a wide array of abilities. Now the question is, who wins in this fight here? Piccolo or Meruem? I want to go outside, see what that noise is. So, who would win this fight? Well, Piccolo's definitely got the years of experience under his belt, and we know for a fact that he could pretty much destroy a city at whim. Like, despite the fact that compared to the Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super characters, Dragon Ball characters were still really powerful. Roshi himself could still destroy a moon and a planet. If he wanted to, in theory. We have to assume that King Piccolo, who was stronger than Roshi, at least in base and principle. When Roshi goes all out, I do believe he was actually, we didn't see Roshi truly go all out. Someone's doing something over there. We didn't see Roshi like go into straight muscle form. I actually think if he went into that buffed up form, like launched a Kamehameha at King Piccolo, he would have beat Piccolo. Because it's one of those things where Ox King actually has an official power rating of 900. First off, where was he when Radz showed up? There's a what if for you if Ox King actually decided to help. And maybe that's a what if I'll have to do at some point. I'm sure maybe someone suggested it. If not, I'll eventually get to it. But Roshi is stronger than the Ox King because he was Ox King's master. So yeah, I have to assume that his power supersedes 900 by a good margin. In fact, it's actually implied that Roshi's power is probably somewhere when he, at least in the early series, is probably somewhere in the low thousands. Not like 2,000, 3,000, but like 1,500, maybe 2,000 at best. But the reason he doesn't help with Rat's eggs, because Goku ultimately surpasses him overall. And more importantly, at least in the early Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z days, he cannot maintain that form very long. Even after training in Super, he still can't maintain that form for very long. Because despite the fact that's his true power, his body is just not, his body's too old and worn to maintain that power for an extreme amount of time. Remember, Roshi actually duked it out with Frost, who is a weaker version of Frieza, but still someone that you needed Super Saiyan to go up against. So, and he duked it out for an even playing field for him for a little bit, even though he was tired out too. So, yeah, Roshi is no joke, and King Piccolo, for the most part, was stronger than Roshi. So I have to assume King Piccolo being able to kill Shenron and threaten cities was at minimum a continental threat. I mean, he was a planetary threat, but in terms of is he a planet buster? That's difficult to say. That is difficult to say. I would say that he might be a planet buster. I don't know if he's probably, but he might be. At lowballing it, he's probably a continental threat. Highballing it, he's a planetary threat in terms of what he could do. So, for what that's worth, it doesn't appear that Meruem has planetary destructive capabilities, at least at this point in his, life. But he has the potential to have that, certainly. That, I think, is the big... that I think is the big difference, is that potential-wise, he has far more potential than King Piccolo does. Piccolo, though, has the experience and possibly raw power over him, certainly. I'm sorry, Live and Let Die is on, and I realized I made a mistake that I'll have to address in one of the other movies. One of my other Bond reviews. Anyway, these two duking out, that would be fun to watch, because I actually think that in a straight physical confrontation, these two would actually be pretty even. In fact, I would actually say Meruem, probably because of his youth, his just design, his biology, actually carries a strong edge over King Piccolo. King Piccolo, though, has the just raw power and experience advantage. So these two would probably be duking out pretty evenly for a good while. I think, honestly, the problem is going to come when Piccolo is actually starting to throw the series attacks, like the ones that crippled Goku's arms when he fought him, the one that nearly killed him, throwing out power that would, obliterate a city. I think that's where Meruem is actually going to have a legitimate problem. Now, fortunately, he is still durable enough and has such a high pain resistance that I do think it would probably he'd probably be able to take it and then come in for the counterattack. But ultimately, the question is he durable enough to survive like a continued onslaught of it, or is he will he eventually fall to King Piccolo? And I would say, if I'm right in the story, obviously, and it's my opinion on this, I would actually say, even though King Piccolo got his youth back, that Meruem has shown more durability and stamina than King Piccolo did against Goku, who was roughly as strong as him, but had the advantage of being younger and it had a bit more vitality to him. In fact, I think Goku might have been a little bit stronger than him. I think they implied that they evened out the power level on both of them. So, Meruem has enough versatility as well that he wouldn't be outplay. Like, he can still do energy blast, rage blast in this case. He can fly thanks to his metamorphosis. With Photon, he was combining the inherited abilities of Shalapuf and his own. It created a version of spiritual magic. It consists of turning his aura into microscopic particles akin to photons and employ them with in flash detached to protons. Okay, it's actually more like a messaging system than anything else, but still, it's still a unique, and it could be used for a distraction, certainly, and he's smart enough to use it like that. And that's the other thing, too, is despite Piccolo's experience in terms of raw intelligence, Meruem seems to take that kick because he's a super genius level intellect. So I gotta say, I do love Dragon Ball, and I've never watched Hunter x Hunter, but from what I'm seeing, even though I think it'd be a close fight, I think Meruem would actually take the fight. There is certain scenarios, too, where King Piccolo would win, no doubt. He could, if he went all out on a concentrated point-blank blast in Meruem's face, I do think, like, he would kill Meruem. Yeah, no doubt about that. But he would have to catch Meruem, and the thing is that not many of the Dragon Ball characters had supersonic speed. Reflexes, yes, because Goku was able to dodge lightning and through training, but be like pure speed, no, not really. No, not it's not on the levels we see in later Dragon Ball Z, certainly. So yeah, Meruem, I think, actually has a speed advantage over Piccolo, which would be seriously think words here. Serious advantage over King Piccolo. But until then, I mean, my money actually is going on Meruem. And again, this is someone who has not read or watched Hunter x Hunter. I've seen a little bit here and there. I haven't seen clips of this guy's fight with the guy who creates like the big monk thing, or the big Buddha thing. But yeah, ultimately, I would say, yeah, Meruem, I think, actually would take the fight, surprisingly. But what do you think? You think it would be King Piccolo? You think it would be Meruem? Let me know in the comments below. But thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want to review something, put the comments below. Let us know. I'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want notifications. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.